Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Mel.
We are live.
Kind of. We are at least being recorded. And we're here to talk about why we think better cultures would be a good thing to nurture.
Absolutely. I'm pretty excited about this. Welcome to everyone who has visited our page on Being Leaders. And we wanted to take some time, I guess, to describe a little bit around what Being Leaders is about and why we are starting with this idea of better cultures.
And this is obviously not our main take, since I've decided to eat something that was in front of me without thinking about it. So, food.
Shall we pause?
No, well, this is now just a trial run. So let's just take one.
Okay. All right. So, Tim, we understand what we do know is this: leaders are your key drivers for culture. Mm-hmm. And we spent some time last year and the year before running our curated conversation series. And off the back of that, we are now launching the Being Leaders program, which is a real immersion program for leaders to better understand the key pillars of what will help them create this idea of a thriving culture.
Yeah. And I think the reason why culture has become such a sort of deeply significant part of our work is that it's what we keep being called to do. Right? As two people who've been out in the world for quite a while now saying we work with leaders, we lead, and we've been doing this for a while, the most frequent request we get is to come in and work with, on and through culture. So Absolutely. We're sort of starting with saying, well, anything that you want to do organizationally, whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to be in the world, that all has to resonate out from a culture that is better, right? Unless you don't want things to go better than they are now, then you have to essentially come to a point of realization that you can improve your culture and there will be downstream benefits to that.
Absolutely. We've seen over the last few years as well so much pressure externally and globally that people are coming to the workplace now, and we spend so much time there, whether it be virtually or whether it be face-to-face or some sort of hybrid version. People are spending so much time in the workplace with their workmates that it is so much more important now than ever before to create this place where people have a sense of safety, where they feel that they can actually thrive, improve their well-being, and not just contribute to the performance of the organisation, but they can access all these other elements as well. And that's why culture has become more important than ever before. It also, as we know, underpins the performance of an organisation. Poor culture, poor performance. Good culture, good performance. Great culture, and I think that's where we all want to be. Why not? Then great performance.
Yeah. And that really is at the heart of what we're talking about. When you think about a thriving culture, that really is it. Everybody's included, everybody's involved. It's a co-creative mode of culture creation, and everybody has an opportunity to thrive. Individual, teams and groups, and the organization, and then all of the stakeholders that the organization is partnering with.
Sometimes I get the question, I don't know about you, but, from an organizational perspective, why should we care about culture? And I say, why not care about it? Wouldn't you want a place where people come and they go, I love it here. I love the people that I work with. I feel safe. I feel like I can use all of my strengths. I feel that I can actually try and be the best version of me. Wouldn't you want your people, your teams to walk away and be able to say that? There's got to be benefits and a domino effect to that as well. And like you said, it's a downstream effect.
And I think there's also a realization, I think increasingly, not universally, increasingly now, that you can't afford not to focus on culture. People will vote with their feet. They will leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that we're seeing that very much now in Australia. It's been prominent in other parts of the world a little bit longer. And the extent that, culture is now on the list of areas that boards are responsible for, according to
Yes.
the AICD. Right?
Absolutely.
There's a line there for culture now. So let's talk a little bit. Actually, no, let's just pause. Let's say this is the end of take one. So let's just chat for a little bit. So we're now nearly 6 minutes in, right? So this is what we found in other versions of this, right? Like we tend to kind of get into it. We're not nailing points. We're very much having a conversation. And I'm glancing over at the Miro board, and I reckon we probably touched on, but maybe not explicitly enough, perhaps, like the three that are over on the right hand side.
Yeah, I was about to go into, but what is culture and how this program helps leaders. And I reckon we had 2 minutes at the start, which were a no
Yeah,
2
I'm
minutes.
not sure it was 2 minutes. Anyway, I think these have got to be less than 5 minutes, or they're just not going to get one.
Okay.
So
what do you want to do? Do you want to start again?
So what I'm just wondering, yes, we'll start again. We'll do a take two, and I don't have anything left to eat now, so that's not going to happen again. So I'm just wondering whether it will be helpful, and it might be that we follow it in the order that it's there. But I'm wondering if we start with the big post-it. I'm talking in the Miro zone. If we start with a big post-it, and then we flow around, so we've kind of got like an order of speaking points.
Yeah.
If we did that, do we think that the order as it stands would be appropriate, or is there anything that we would need to shift?
No, I think that's fine. We're going clockwise, right?
Yeah, clockwise from better. Yeah. So it's
I think that's fine.
Builds this.
All
right. Shall we try baton passing?
Yeah.
Between.
Absolutely.
So let's both speak to better cultures, and then you segued nicely, and you do that really well into the leading bit and why leaders are important and why we're doing this in. Then I'll do the next bit, and then you go back to leading.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk very briefly, and that's literally, I think that learning thing would be like 20 seconds, maybe 30. And then and then maybe we can, you begin, and maybe we both speak to the key themes.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I wonder whether if we do speak to the key themes, I think we're literally just going to be like, these are the key themes. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have time to unpack them.
No, we won't. And I don't think we should, because we want them to come along and unpack them.
We do. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I think anything other than like, these are the key themes that we focus on.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing. Okay, well, let's give that a go.
Okay.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do for me. So I'm going to clap 3 times, and then I'll go quiet for a moment, and then we'll just launch into it.
Okay.
All right.
Morning, Tim.
Hey, Mel. Let's talk about better cultures.
Let's do that.
Why better cultures? Why now? And why talk about culture in an introduction to a program for leaders? So fundamentally, I think where we're at right now is a recognition that a lot of what we're sort of wrestling with and a lot of what people are calling for change around are culture dynamics, cultural norms, and whether that's in an organizational setting or a broader context, that's what it comes down to. And leaders have got a lot to do with what culture is.
Yeah, they absolutely do, Tim. And leaders are your key drivers of culture. There's no doubt about it. They set the theme, they drive the business in a certain direction. So they are almost a key pillar of how to drive a culture in a certain direction. And so this program is really about bringing some clarity as to what that means for leading into the future, and how as a leader you can be aware of the impact you're having on culture and how to drive it in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, we'll expand slightly in a moment on sort of the tenets of leadership that we think are needed now and going into the future. So this is very much a present and future orientated program for leaders. And this is where culture comes into it. Like, culture is participative. Leaders have a major and sort of expanded influence on culture dynamics. And out of cultures emerge futures. So everyone that participates in a culture is essentially co-creating their own future actively as they set up and enshrine the values, the systems, the processes from which their future journey will emanate. So as a leader, you're sort of doubling up on that you're actively creating your own future and significantly impacting on the future of others.
And if you think about everything that has been happening over the last few decades, I'm not even going to say the last few years because it's been a long term coming. There are so many external pressures at the moment. You know, people are spending the majority of their time in the workplace. So it's only fair that they want to come and they want to experience a good to great culture. And so all of these external impacts are putting more pressure on organisations to really be more conscious and create a more conscious state about how we improve culture. And this is where leaders really fit into it. And I guess we've weaved that into the Being Leaders program so that they can experience that right throughout the whole of the learning journey that they're on with us.
Yeah, 100%. And look, this learning journey is potentially different to other developmental programs on a number of levels that we'll unpack in another video. But all I'll say right now is this is very much a journey, and the likelihood is that a different person will emerge at the end of that journey because it's designed as a learning process, and it's a learning process for you and an invitation to bring your team on that journey with specific elements that we've designed through the learning process to basically roll out with your team as you're going through the journey.
It's learning and change integrated, isn't it? And some of the key themes that we're going to touch on, whilst culture underpins all of them, we're going to talk about things like a thriving culture and what we can do as leaders to bring that to life. We're going to talk about purpose and the impact to the individual, the team, and the organisation. We're going to delve into trust. And then we're going to look at other elements like inclusivity and connection and how they also impact trust. And then from there, we're going to move in to talk about certainty and creativity. And most importantly, and I know it's one of your favourite topics as it is mine, we're going to touch on, we're calling it the narrative, but let's talk to storytelling and this idea of identity through storytelling as well.
Yeah, so that's essentially an overview. If you want to dive in deeper, keep going through these videos, and whenever your curiosity is overwhelming, feel free to get in touch.
Absolutely. We look forward to having you join our Being Leaders program starting soon.
Right. I thought that was pretty good.
Awesome. And that was 5 minutes.
Yeah, I reckon. So, yeah, no, I thought that was good. Okay, so why don't we leave this one here? Yeah. And we'll go on to the next one. So I'm going to have to send you a new invite every time we roll out. All right. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.